Hello, beautiful people. So, I was watching a movie. No, not a movie, sorry. I was watching one of these vlogs on YouTube, a Nigerian vlog. And the girl went to the market. She went to buy snails. I'm doing this because when I went to Nigeria, I was back home in April. Yes, April. I came back May. And this girl went to the market to buy snails, and they told her 5 snails for 15,000 naira. 5 snails for 15,000 naira in Lagos. She lives in Lagos. 5 snails, 15,000 naira. Okay, good. And that jogged my memory back to when I was in Abuja, in Nigeria. I went to the restaurant with my sister in Gariki 2. I like going to that restaurant. I don't want to call their name because I don't want any problems. But I went to it starts with a B. So I went to the restaurant in Gariki 2. I went to, every time when I was in Nigeria, I love buying food there. I love their food. That's no lies. But when I went, I didn't know that things are really that bad, really that expensive. But yes, I understand the prices went up, everything is so expensive. I get that, I understand that. But when we went one day, my sister said she wants to, my sister's husband likes snail. So we were in the restaurant. I was like, okay, should we get snail for Uncle? And then we're like, I said, she said, no, she saw the snail. She was like, oh, these snails are, the husband would like it. I said, okay, so let's get snails for Uncle now. If Uncle would like snails, like that. So we're like, my sister now asks, said, how much is the snail? So the lady said 10,000. 10,000. Aibo. Hey, 10,000 naira for one snail. For me, it was okay, but my sister screamed. My sister was like, what? I didn't understand why she screamed then. Now I understand why she reacted the way she did when I watched this lady's vlog. 5 snails, 15,000 naira. You're selling one snail for 10,000 naira. So you bought 5 snails for 15,000 naira, and you said 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So you made a profit of 35,000 naira from one snail. Even if you buy ingredient to cook that snail, it's pepper snail. Even if you buy ingredient to cook that snail, it won't cost you 5,000 naira. What do you use in making pepper snail? Is it not pepper? If you want to really pimp it, like let it be really good, onions, pepper, the other atarodo, there is some people like to put some little seasonings here and there. That is it. It won't cost you 5,000. It won't cost you 5,000 naira. And you made that, and you sell one snail for 10,000 naira. I watched that video. I was like, it's not just the government of Nigeria that is doing also. We, the people, we are doing ourselves. Because that restaurant, to start with, they buy things in bulk. They are not like this lady that went to the market to buy, just little quantity that she wants to cook for her parents. Because according to her parents are in town, so she wants to surprise them and cook. Her father loves snail, so she wants to surprise them and make a snail dish. That is by the side. She buys little. Restaurants buy in bulk. I have worked in a restaurant before. Yes, I have. When I finished secondary school, my first job I did back home was working in a restaurant, Women's Center, in Area 11, Gariki. I work in the restaurant in there. They call it Buka. That's the name of the restaurant, Buka. It was owned by one general's wife. She was living in Kaduna, but she got the place and she set up a restaurant inside the Women's Center at Area 11, opposite CBN, Central Bank of Nigeria. Yes, I worked there. That was my first job ever in life that I got paid. But before then, I was doing other things. I was selling stuff. But as in I worked, that was my first job. I worked there as a cook. I would cook in the morning. I'm among the cooks that cook the food in the morning. When we finish cooking, then we'll set up, put everything out, and I'll still change as a disher. Was I a dish? No, as a waitress, and I'll serve. That was my first job. So I understand restaurants. I know how restaurants buy things in bulk. They don't buy one. They buy things in bulk. Everything comes in bulk. That's how you make money from restaurant. So if this lady is buying 5 snails for 15,000, that means if you look at the quantity of these snails these guys buy to sell, they are probably getting maybe like 10 snails, because they buy in bulk. They're probably getting maybe like 8 or 10 snails for that same amount of 15,000, because they buy in bulk. So you put small money to sell. Why? That's why when I went and we went to any restaurant, when they will bring the bill, I will look at it and say, is this not this same restaurant I used to eat when I was working with the Federal Fire Service, that I go to eat every morning, that I go to buy my breakfast every morning? Because that's where I go to buy my breakfast every morning. When I come to work, I'll drive, I'll go there, buy my food before I even enter the office and keep it. When it's lunchtime, that's when I eat. That's where I eat my lunch. That's when I go to. Most times I eat I eat mostly lunch. I don't eat breakfast. I eat my lunch there. So like 11, 12, I've gone to buy my lunch. I'll keep it there. When it's like 1 o'clock or so or 2, I'll eat at work. I say, is it not the same restaurant that they're not selling one snail? Nigerians, wanna fear God. It's too much. I beg, it's too much. It's too much. 15 snails, 15,000. 5 snails, 15,000. You're selling 1 snail for 10,000. Come on now. All right, please, let's help ourselves. Let's help ourselves. It's too much.